If you've already found a great podcast, don't ask to be a guest on it before you've watched this entire video. Because if you want to get a yes, unfortunately, it's not as simple as just shooting over a quick email. There are 3 other things that you need to do before you get to that step and get booked as a guest. So let's say I've got the podcast Friends That Invest in mind as a show that I want to guest on. Here's what I would do. Step 1, I need to confirm the podcast is a good fit. Let's say I've listened to an episode. There are lots of other checks I need to make to confirm that it's a good fit. And I can either try to do this manually by searching on Google and Spotify, or I could sign up to Rephonic's free trial to run these checks in just a couple of minutes. The thing I want to check is publishing dates. If they haven't published an episode in like the last 60 days or so, it's very unlikely I'll get a reply from them. On the flip side, if their most recent episode is not that long ago, it means they're more likely to be accepting new guests. They're active, right? The second thing I'll check is listener numbers. And there are a couple of things that I'll bear in mind here. Firstly, bigger isn't always better. Relevance definitely beats reach if my goal is thought leadership or high intent leads. Second, the show needs to be in the right ballpark in terms of size. In other words, it needs to match my level of experience and authority. Otherwise, if it's a massive show and I've never done a podcast interview before, there's like a 0.0001% chance that I'm going to get booked. Third thing, audience demographics. I want to make sure the audience mirrors my target audience. For example, country, profession, age, income, gender, etc. This is how I avoid wasting time pitching shows that are just going to ghost me because I'm not a good fit, and conversations on shows that don't move the needle for me or get me the results that I'm after. Okay, so fourth, I want to research previous guests and what they've talked about on the show, and try to understand why they were a relevant guest. If I can gauge what the show's typical guest is like, I can figure out if I fit within that persona. If the show is active in my listener range, aligns with my target audience, and books guests like me, that's a green light, and I'll move on to step 2. I'm going to find a unique angle to pitch. And for this, I can use the podcast transcripts in the feedback tab on Rephonic to make it a lot easier. So I can actually search episode transcripts for keywords I care about or that align with my expertise. For example, if I'm an expert in property investing, I type that in and see if anyone's discussed that before and what they've said. Then I'll know any content gaps I could fill or alternative perspectives that I could bring to the show. Basically, I just want to have some stories, some data, and some insights that will be new and interesting for their listeners. Once I've got my pitch angle, step 3 is I'll make sure that I get the right contact info. If I'm only pitching this one show, I can just grab their email address from their website. But if I'm planning on pitching a bunch of shows, I'll use Rephonic and open the contact section on each contact page. Okay, so on to step 4, which, like I mentioned at the start, is just writing and sending my actual pitch. This gets way easier now that I've confirmed that it's a good fit, I've got a unique angle in mind, and have found the right contact info. I recommend checking out the link in the description for a full guide on how to turn this template into your own personalized pitch with the help of AI. If you want, you can try Rephonic for free for 7 days to help you save time with all the steps that I've just talked you through. I've put that link below as well. I'll catch you next time.